One of the things that some of my clients say to me is, Emma, I just don't have enough time. There's not enough hours in the day. If you could just wave your magic wand and give me another hour, that would be amazing. And I wrote about this in my first book. There is no more time. So it's how we use it that's so important. Have you noticed that when you're doing something that you don't love, how slow time goes? And when you're doing something that you do love, how quickly it goes? I'm a roller skater from way back. And when I go to the roller skating rink and do a lesson or roller skate for an hour, the time goes like that. It's so quick. It's because I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing. It's the same when you're playing to your strengths, right? You don't notice the time fly. I'm not into this, but some of my clients love an Excel spreadsheet. And I know for a fact they get lost for hours in spreadsheets. Good on them. That's awesome. I want to tell you about one of my clients. We'll call her Julie. Julie had a session with me and she turned up and was feeling very overwhelmed. When we unpacked what was happening for her, she felt like she was running out of hours in the day. She wasn't able to get to all the things that she needed to. She had a list as long as her arm that she needed to do, and she had a backlog of tasks for delivery. So we talked about what was happening for her, and we talked about what her routines were in the morning, what it looked like for her to get work done. And one of the things that we decided is we had a look through her diary, and we decided that she just didn't have enough room in her diary to actually do all the delivery. Pretty important. I also asked Julie if she would do an audit for me, a little audit over the next week using something called Toggle. I'm sure of you who use Toggle know what it's like. And if you haven't used Toggle, it's basically a time management tracking tool. It's amazing to see where you're spending your time, where you're wasting your time, and where you could use your time better. So I asked her to do that as well. I am going to come back to Julie because I think that Julie's not unusual. I have a lot of clients who at times feel overwhelmed about the things that they need to get done. And I thought today I'd just share with you a few tips and a few things that I do that help me with my time management. First of all, I batch. Sometimes this can be seen as unpopular, but I batch similar tasks together. So for instance, if I am in my email, I will do a stack of emails. If I am on socials, I'll do a stack of socials. If I'm in delivery, I batch that as well. Batching means you're not switching from task to task. And every time you switch a task, you lose 25 minutes. Did you know that? Oh my goodness. We don't want to lose time. We don't want to lose time. We want to make time work for us. So we batch what we can. I work with three things a day. I have a master to-do list at the beginning of the week, but each day I'm like, what are the three things that I need to get done? And those three things normally get done first thing in the morning because I'm freshest, I've got good willpower, and I've got good decision skills then. This is a question for you. Do you find that sometimes you work better in better pieces of the day? So for me, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and my sweet spot is between 8 and 10. That's my sweet spot. For some of my other clients, between 10 and 12. And so you just need to find out what is your sweet spot. The other thing that my clients complain about is socials. So I've got two tips. We can fall down the social media trap. You jump on socials to check something, and then all of a sudden you're down a rabbit hole and you've lost an hour. You need to make sure that you've popped in times in your diary to check socials, and then you need to get off. The same is with email. The amount of people I speak to who start their day on email. No way, man. Don't start your day on email. I don't open my email until about 10 in the morning. The reason I don't open my email is because there's so many distractions in that thing. And so I would strongly recommend that you open your email 3 times a day, and that is it. Don't sit there with it open. Turn your notifications off. Don't have it pinging in the background. I just think it is an absolute time waster. The other thing you can do is outsource the things that you really don't like to do. And we also need to prioritize the things that we love to do. The thing about Julie was she came into that session feeling overwhelmed. I asked her to let me know in a week to do a bit of an audit and to tell me what things that she had noticed. The things that she had noticed in that week is that she wasn't prioritizing her work, and we knew that from our conversation, but also she was spending a lot of time online. So instead of coming into the office, she had an office, coming into the office, she would whack the kettle on and then she would jump on a news website and read the news and then get distracted and go down a rabbit hole. So we had to almost change her habits. So when she went and popped the kettle on, she could only come back and start work. No emails, no rabbit warrens of news. We also got her to create a spreadsheet of the backlog of tasks, and I helped her be accountable to getting the backlog of tasks done. Within a week, she was sorted. She was back on track. It doesn't take much, but sometimes you just need someone to go, hey, what is it? Let's work through it. The question for you is, how do you steal back time? What do you do? Are you super efficient with your time and therefore you do not even need to listen to this podcast? Or are you like, oh yeah, I might need to do those things? I think it makes you feel far more in control when you're not checking your emails and you don't feel like you're chained to your desk. So today we've talked about batching, we've talked about outsourcing, we've talked about prioritization, and we've talked about not being held to ransom by our email. Which ones might you try? Let us know. I would love to hear, and I will be cheering you on.